This is for the late bloomers. This is for the ones brave enough to make a big life-changing shift in their career, their life, their personal life at 30, 40, 50. Those that are brave enough to realize this isn't what I really want anymore, or this isn't really who I am. And they're stepping into a more true version of themselves, a happier version of themselves, despite how it might make other people feel uncomfortable. But first, my name is Jessica. I am an emerging artist, and this video was brought to you by me, jessicadarlingstudio.com. So definitely go check out jessicadarlingstudio.com for more information about me and my art and everything that I am working on in my life. Thank you so much, jessicadarlingstudio.com. But here's the thing. I have recently overcome a huge obstacle, an obstacle that I didn't even realize I had, and it was one I was thinking about a lot throughout my life. And I feel like as I've gone through the artist's way, I've been able to uncover this block with myself. But before we speak on this huge obstacle, I also want to speak on this topic of grief. Because when I was younger, I used to kind of put grief in a box. It was this thing that would happen, and how a person might respond, or how a person will respond when someone close to them might pass away, or their beloved family pet has to be put down, and things like that. As I've gotten older, I've realized that grief is so much more complex. Yes, we can grieve when we think about our family members that are no longer with us, and when something really major happens in our life. But there's also little things we grieve. And the older I get, the more I realize that this process of grieving and releasing emotions is so important and something I used to really try to avoid. For example, I've had to grieve as a mother in a way, not that my children are gone, but the version of them that the version of them where they were little and they really needed me and they wanted all of my time and attention. They have changed and evolved because they have grown. They have gone through these stages, and with each new stage, as they grow and become more independent and more of an adult, I almost have to grieve that past version of themselves, the little, when they were little kids and they just really needed me. And then I realize I'm going to have to do it again when they actually move out of my house and I don't get to see them every day anymore. I also have had to grieve parts of myself that have no longer served me, parts of myself that I feel like were created to help keep me safe, and they helped me go through really hard times. Versions of myself that used to smoke and overeat, those things that they kept me safe because they kept me from feeling my emotions. But then once I am able to actually release and grieve through these different processes, I am able to move on from those parts of my life and thank them for everything they did for me, but also let them go. Then there's the grief of time that we missed. Grieving the things that we didn't or didn't get to do in our childhood, experiences that we wish we would have had. And for me, this is a big one. Because sometimes it's easy to look into our childhood and be like, if my parents would have done this, this, and this, or if I would have had this experience and that experience, think of where I could be today. And this was the big realization I've had this week. I saw a young artist Instagram post, and he had everything. He had the studio in the big city. He had, his art was hanging in galleries. He was teaching, he was doing art, he was living this dream that he thought that he wanted when he was a kid. And he was young, he did it straight out of high school. And he got to a point where he felt like he needed to close his studio doors, even just temporarily, to figure out how to fall back in love with art. And that's what I realized. All the missed opportunities I had, all this time I've spent hustling and grinding and trying on different hats and realizing things that I don't like, realizing, the roles I've played that I don't want to play anymore, it's only made it more concrete and has only defined my path more clearly. Now I know without a doubt how I want to move forward as an artist and what I want my art to look like and what I want my art business to look like. Because I've done a lot of things and I've realized I don't want to do those things. I want to do the things in this way. So for a long time, I used to be in this mindset of like, oh, my parents, they should have done this for me. They should have really, helped me and saw my interest in arts and signed me up for community classes. They should have, encouraged me to go to art school and become an artist, and instead of, helping me more down a more logical path. I could look at that, and I did for a long time, and think if I would have had more support in a creative career, where would I be today? I'd already be an artist. But would I have as much appreciation as I do today? I'm a late bloomer, and I've realized that that's okay. And when I was doing one of the chapters in The Artist's Way, they kind of walk you through going through your ideal perfect childhood and what that would look like. And in that process, I realized that I was holding myself back because I was thinking if I would have done XYZ, I would have been more successful today than I am. But the reality is, the things I've gone through, the career paths I have gone through, the things I've endured, they've all helped me come to this point. And that is, my communication is much better. I am a much more confident speaker. I have a very high belief in myself. And I no longer wonder if I'm going to become an artist. I know that as long as I stay consistent and I don't give up, my art will bloom and there will get to a point where this will be my career. And I'm so grateful for all the time I didn't spend as an artist, because I feel like this life experience has allowed me to become more relatable. I've lived in the world. I've had these experiences. I've had these different careers. I've raised children. I've learned how to advocate for myself, and I understand my worth. And that was all thanks to my past, all of these experiences, all these jobs, all of these opportunities I've had that weren't necessarily related to art. But what these experiences have done is build me up into the strong, confident person I am today. And that is valuable. So, it is never too late to start chasing your dreams. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for supporting. And thank you, JessicaDarlingStudio.com, for sponsoring this video. I'll see you guys next week.